Hello, this is a VOD review of Fenerbahçe versus Phong Vũ Buffalo. This is day one review. Both these teams were undefeated at the time, and since only one team gets out of the play-in group, this match is pretty important. It's a double round robin, so both of these guys have beaten the other two teams, and now they're playing for the first time here.
Times in the past, it's always been Vietnam that have come out on top in the end.
Sorry about that. Gonna speed through this a little bit. First ban, Jarvan. Pretty interesting the Jarvan ban comes out. You can typically force red side to ban the Jarvan if you play Rek'Sai and you're willing to first pick Rek'Sai. I assume that they're not going for a Rek'Sai, but they may. The problem is there's a lot of strong solo laners, so you might want to ban that over that. But it doesn't make a lot of sense to ban the J4 first when you can ban it other periods of time. Maybe they want to get a strong solo laner for the first pick, so they don't want the return picks to be Jarvan, but you could save it until you see the Rek'Sai ban. I guess if you don't want to give Rek'Sai, then Jarvan is an okay ban. Karthus getting a lot of priority in these games that I've seen. A lot of bans towards Karthus. Rise, very strong ban, standard for red side to ban it. And then the two solo laners, a lot of solo laners just going here. Most of the game revolves around the solo lanes at this time, so that's mostly what you will see in the first ban rotation. You gotta take all these more overpowered champions off of the table. So they decide they don't want to deal with the Jace. Pretty interesting first pick here. They go with Kindred. Kindred, maybe they're trying to prevent the Rek'Sai pick because it's not great. Rek'Sai has some problems with Kindred if you don't start to snowball. Galio first pick, good priority. And then it looks like they'll lock in their jungler here because they want a good matchup and they don't want to show their comp too much. So these are very neutral picks here. Would not be surprised to see Lucian here. Yeah, that's very standard combo. If you want the Galio, then you definitely you can definitely counter it with this. It's good into this lane. This combo isn't the best combo. It's an okay combo, but it's not really the best. Interesting that we see a Kai'Sa pick here. The lane for bottom is going to be very hard for Phong Vũ here. Obviously, the scaling is a lot better, and the jungler is a lot better. So it's not like Lucian Braum could just disrespect this bot lane. It's going to come a lot down to the solo picks that they decide to see if they can put priority on bottom and use Lee Sin to get the Kai'Sa through the lane. Nautilus ban. They don't run. It's only Nautilus for mid, so I guess they're going to pinch mid pool here. Wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Syndra ban as well. I don't expect to see a Zoe ban at all. Vlad, that's a good ban for this team comp. Their early game is pretty strong, so the Vladimir ban is definitely something that they should be looking towards. Silas ban as well. Silas is a pretty good ban here because there's good ults to take. All these ults right now are valuable ults. Zoe would be an interesting pick here. I don't like it. I don't like the Zoe pick because one, you're blind picking, which is fine, but when you look at what this comp wants to do, it doesn't really synergize too well with Zoe. I mean, Kai'Sa can be okay with it, but only with the W. Lee Sin, it creates a strong mid-jungle pressure, for sure, but just in terms of T-fighting, doesn't really synergize super well with the team, although it seems okay. They're kind of trying to put the pressure so their bot lane can get out of lane. Let me see hecarim. I'm not too sure about this matchup. I assume it's fine. But you can kind of see, like, wants to go in, and then you have this backline. this backline poke champ, so it's kind of weird to play a comp like this. The Azir pick, I don't really like it. It gives some late game insurance, but other than that, it doesn't really spike too well with the team. Because by the time Azir picks up, your other champions are falling off. So it's, in that sense, it's kind of um, it's kind of hard to play, and you're also now just auto lose jungle mid combo because Azir is pretty weak in lane. I mean, it's not like terrible, but it's not like the greatest either. So if you just look at the scaling, like you have mid game here. I mean, Kennen can be late game too, but mostly mid game because he's going to be splitting, so he's going to get an XP advantage. And then you have this guy mid game, and then I guess the Kindred is kind of late game, but I would say more it was just like a buffer pick so that the Rek'Sai couldn't be picked. So that one doesn't matter as much, but definitely I would say that the Azir pick is really bad. I would have, not bad, it's really interesting. I would have preferred to see something like, I would have preferred to see something like Syndra, I think. Cassio. Those champs would scale better with this comp. Cassio, especially if you wanted to play like this 5-ranged strategy, would be better than Azir, but that's the pick they go with. Comp-wise, Phong Vũ Buffalo definitely wins the early game, as you can see here. They're forcing the vertical, which is kind of interesting. You don't want to leave the... Obviously, it's the Lee who can force it, for sure. So he decides to force it, and this kind of gives hecarim a way to survive the lane. We see this combo coming down. Very, going as planned, I should say. Just due to this matchup being really bad for Kai'Sa we should be able to see lots of pressure. They do have to know that it's not possible for them to get ganked either. So both teams kind of wanted this vertical based on what their team comps want to do. Obviously, Phong Vu's goal is to get their top lane out of lane, and Fenerbahçe's goal is to let their bot lane have pressure. This is very standard to use TP to stop the dive. A little missed timing. We can kind of go back and see how this happened. The replay's coming up, so we'll kind of see it. So the problem is a gank's going on in the top lane. So this TP can't happen right away. If they knew this dive was coming in, they could have TP'd earlier, and that would solve a lot of problems. But because there's a gank going on in the top lane, he can instantly TP. He also has to be aware that Kennen could stun him up. So that's kind of how that went. We see a return gank in the bot lane. That's really good. So right now, Fenerbahçe's strategy, let's say, is working out better than Phong Vu's. Because the gank was unsuccessful in the top lane, even though that's what they wanted to do. It's kind of weird because the hecarim had to TP, so he lost the advantage he should have had to prevent the bot lane advantage. And we actually see the Azir winning this lane, so it's pretty interesting that the Zoe wasn't able to keep up in lane. It's also the fact that Lee Sin decided to hit top side instead of mid side, which is perfectly fine. So this Azir's up about a wave. Bot lane knows that if the Kindred's down here, they could pretty much be as aggressive as they want. They catch out the Lee. He's up a level. He soaked the wave mid, so that's why he's up a level. Not because he's out jungling or anything. The jungle paths have been fairly standard. And we see the Kindred trying to reset his wraiths. Wow, that is pretty interesting. And that is also pretty interesting. Hopefully they show the replays, because I'm not sure how that is supposed to happen. We see a Lucian with a pretty interesting build as well. Not sure exactly what he's going for. And the hecarim just runs this guy down. Kind of split focus here in the bot lane. I think if they instantly turn onto the Kai'Sa, it's possible to win. Because this guy's dead at this point, so if he dashes to hit this guy, I mean, I guess he does, so it's fine. I don't know if he had heal at that time. I would guess not. Kindred realized he can't contest the scuttle because of top lane pressure, mid lane pressure. This is kind of scary for him. Ends up being fine. What could have happened here is they can know that the scuttle's like, the scuttle is secured, and then come walk in and then take the scuttle on the way out. That's definitely what could have happened, because if they pinched from here and here, had the Zoe roam over, then this camp could be taken away, for sure. They decided to just go with the blue though. The Zoe should be roaming here. He's gonna be late when he has the prio, so it's really weird. This would be a lot better if the Zoe was first to roam, which he should have been. He had the lane in a good spot to do it. We see bot lane getting a natural lead, up almost 40 CS. Kai'Sa, of course, will get some of this wave, so it's not as bad as it looks at the moment. But it definitely is starting to become an issue, in my opinion. There's big problems for Fenerbahçe if the Kennen can't split against the Heck at all. So, definitely something to keep in mind. And that gank, let's see what happens really. I don't really like how they set this up, because it looks pretty forced, right? Maybe they think it's free. But they force this pretty hard. They're also missing a wave here. I guess the TP was a little mistimed, as I would guess. But I don't like that play at all. I could have said it earlier. Yeah, it's easy to say hindsight. Like, I don't like the play, but if you just look at all the factors, like, let's go back a little bit. Burning wave here, drag is up. Like, you're not really fighting for anything here. This is the problem. Except for cloud drag. But the problem is you win the cloud drag fight. You win the cloud drag fight without having to kill their bot lane here, which is honestly a pretty big reason for why this fight is bad, because we can just walk in and use the Zoe poke and pull the drag, and we'll be okay without having to force this kind of fight. I don't think you're playing for this tower when you go for this play, because the problem with going for this one is that your wave isn't set up, so you don't even get as much as you should for winning. Hecarim TP's down, the cannon can't follow. You're in a pretty bad spot here. Probably gonna lose some plates. They decide reset is the best option. I guess they don't want to siege against an azir, which is perfectly acceptable, in my opinion. Azir is pretty hard to siege on. But yeah, I don't like that play at all. We'll see the items in a second, because they are pretty relevant on what people have. I was gonna say that they should maybe be looking for Herald here as soon as the items came up, depending on what items the Hecarim have, what items the Zoe have. I guess they know the Azir based, so they think this is good to go. Soloing it here. It's interesting, they pull the Galio to confirm that this will be taken, even though they're going to lose plates at bot. The Kaisa might even have to back off. That's the bigger problem here. They get this, but they lose this probably, which it doesn't seem like a big deal, to be honest. It doesn't seem like a big deal. You need Herald if you're red side here, because it's impossible to crack mid naturally. Or it's not impossible, but it's very difficult. So what they're going to want to do is take this and drop it mid so they can open up the map a lot more. I don't think they know that this is going on here. They do know. They get it. They're gonna have to secure it somehow here. We see we see her flash over for it, which is probably worth, in all honesty. And we see the Galio coming in as well. That was a big win for Phong Vũ. This is why the Galio roaming here is relevant. The real question is why is this Braum roaming? Because they definitely could have taken this tower or gotten platings. So let's see how this happens. So they just leave him under tower essentially. I guess they're trying to make this play. Kind of. It looks to me like it's a little bit of a lapse in judgment, because I think taking this tower is much higher priority than going for this fight that you naturally lose. Let's say they fight here. The Zoe's gonna be annoying here. The only thing is that Lee was kind of low. The Hecarim is good in this area. And then you have the Galio roaming up. Maybe they don't know the Galio is roaming up, which makes this slightly better. But let's say they take this. Their bot lane's already strong. Pretty interesting goes Essence Reaver, by the way. He's already pretty strong. Their dual lane. So what could easily happen is you take this, and then you swap. Don't really care about air drag. Just give that one up. Come up, try to take this tower, and then play around from there. The problem is both mid lanes are extremely hard to take, so maybe that's why they're having more emphasis on Herald, and they didn't know that he would just start it instantly. And it's more, hey, we're gonna like set up a Herald play. But it's hard to set up plays that you don't win. I guess you can say the Kai'Sa's not coming, so they win, which is kind of true as well. But Okay. Okay, so what's happening here? What's happening here is the Lee wants to drop the Herald at top lane so that the Hecarim can get his plates. Because they think that if the Hecarim is ahead and wins the split, then there's no way that they lose the game. Which is partially true, because splitting will always stall out the game if this other team can't close, and it's very hard to close when there's a Zoe wave clearing and you only have one. Like, instead of a 3-lane rotation where you have this lane, this lane, and this lane, all of a sudden, let's say he's bot. If he's up here, you only have 2 lanes to work with, and that's here to here. So it's not really like ideal for closing out a game or like pushing the tempo. Because you have to deal with the Hecarim too. The cannon won't win the split. That being said, I'd prefer to see the Herald dropped at mid lane, which it does. It does get dropped here. I guess that's not the rationale behind the play, which makes it. I really don't know what's going on. Because I forgot that the Zoe picked up the Herald. So the Zoe's going to get this, which is very, very, very good for Phong Vũ. Because the power of the azir is that he won't lose the tower, but he's going to lose it here, and he's going to lose a charge. So this is very strong for them. Okay, they're not going to lose the charge, but that's okay. Yeah, I don't really know what this play is for. I don't think you have to make this play. You know that there's 5 top side of the map, I assume, or 4. This play is kind of like a razor's edge kind of play. Like, it's a 50-50 play, essentially. Let's say the kind of flashes this. Or they overchase, or something to that effect. Or if the Kindred ults here, instead of ulting late. Like, all these things factor in to whether, like, who wins this fight. So, very coin flip play. Really don't like it from Phong Vũ. You have this going on at mid. You really don't have to be going for this play. The Hecarim's going to win the split, like, already at this point. So, it's kind of just giving Fenerbahçe time to scale. Which, they don't scale that well, to be fair. It's only these 2 champions, really. You could argue Kennen, but I think Hecarim with items may be more useful. With an XP advantage as well. They get Cloud Dragon, which doesn't really mean anything. It means something in that Hecarim doesn't get a speed boost, but that's about it. I guess it does mean a little bit too because of these champions don't have hard lockdown, and really Gallia running at them is the only way. So I guess it helps a little bit for kiting. Next Dragon's Mountain. I expect that one to be very contested. Okay, this fight's really ill-advised just because of the items. So he's kind of misplaying a little bit. If he had bought his Triforce, then he probably wins this fight. But because he doesn't have a buy yet, he can't. This is really greedy as well. We'll see. The Kindred's here. If he stayed around, this dive is definitely possible. But he decides to stay. This top tower is going to go down, which is pretty... It's pretty sad. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I think this guy's just overgreeding. I guess he's trying to bait, but just got flashed on. They get the return kill. I think it's pretty bad for him to give up that kill. I don't think you need to at all. I mean, you should know the Zoe's at least roaming. And you should know it's not to save the tower. So if you can put the pieces together, then you can kind of see. This Lucian has a lot of gold he needs to buy. He has a natural advantage, and they have a natural advantage. So trade back the tower here. Phong Vũ does. What's the next thing for these teams to do? It's an open map, so probably Vision, Establishment would be good. It's far time off Baron, far time off Dragon. I don't think 3 can siege mid. This spot's kind of hard for both teams. Here's what I think you do if you're Fenerbahçe. You send Kennen to bottom. You send your Lucian to top. You let them get solo XP. You let the Azir sit mid. You start warding drag area with these two. I think that is the play. Because the map is so open right now. And I don't think it's good to be greeting for this mid tower here. Because you have these towers already. So it's not like you knock this and you get this. Right? Like, you don't get the side lane towers because they're not there when you knock this. So this tower becomes lower priority. Except for opening up the map. But the problem is you don't need to control any of this space. Because drag's going to come up. So this is the only spot you need to control, really. Obviously, some deeper vision would be nice, but you can obtain it off of bot side, for sure. Kennen no TP. I think for sure maybe these two can deal with the Kennen. But the problem if the Galio is sitting in the lane, because the Kaisa definitely doesn't deal with her alone, or him alone. So if he's staying in the lane, he doesn't get to ward and control this area. So I think slight advantage at this point in the game to Fenerbahçe. But you need to send the Kennen to bot, not to top. Reason being, this is the reasoning. You want to control this area? Kennen's going to be stronger than Lucian in team fights. Or in this like area. He's going to be able to push further, is the biggest thing. Because Lucian isn't going to be able to push to here. But this Kennen could definitely push to here. And then you know that your team members are going to be around this area because they're trying to control this vision. Baron vision is not going to be controlled. Everyone's too squishy, there's no tanks. So they also don't do it fast enough. Like, they don't really have the DPS. Especially if the hecarim has to match the Kennen. So that's kind of how I would see it from Fenerbahçe's point of view. And I think they have advantage too, because their bot lane is definitely ahead at this stage. Maybe the Lee Sin is more of a problem than I think. This is a hard part of the game to say. It's kind of even. Okay, never mind. When he dives, he got locked up here, by the way. So disregard what I said before. He's definitely dead. Because he went for the kill trade. It's kind of worth. I don't know what's going on here. I guess Fenerbahçe is going to lose this drag. Based on the positioning. You see the Galio trying to establish vision on his own. Greeds his base, has to use R, which is fine. Just send him to top lane, set up the drag. He has TP, so yeah, it's kind of a problem. The reasoning why I don't think the Ken should be top, even though he's going to have TP for this fight, is that you want him to be at the start of the fight. You don't want him to really TP in. Flanking is not really great against this team, in my opinion. I don't think you get all too much off of it. They do have a good flank ward here, though. Something to keep in mind. They have a good one here as well. This one gets cleared. But this battle for vision should have happened like a minute ago. Yeah, I kind of knew that this wasn't properly set up. That's why I said I don't think Fenerbahçe can contest this drag anymore. After they sent the Azir to top lane and then their Kennen died. So I don't know. I just think that's really not great. I think it should have been done the other way around. Where the Kennen should have went bot, the Lucian should have went top. The Azir just clears mid. And then you have your Braum and Kindred ward up drag. That's like a 2-minute in advance play. But I mean, these teams should definitely be capable of thinking like that. I'd say drag's not as big of a deal because these guys' Baron Rush is way faster than these guys. So it's actually it really hurts that Fenerbahçe loses that one. Because if they have one mountain, they can always pressure Baron. It's way more concerning because just look at their Baron speed. Lucian, Azir, Kindred, Kennen. That Baron speed is insanely fast. Where Buffalo's is kind of the same no matter what. We're going to be in a lull for a while, by the way. Baron isn't really on the table for these teams. They're just trying to clear vision. Like, you don't want a sneak to happen, is the thing. Basically. Now this Kenny gets isolated, which isn't great, because I don't think he wins this. He has Zanya's. Hecarim also has 2 items. Probably not possible. It looks like he might be winning. Wow, he actually wins. I think it's misplayed, though. How does he approach here? We can check the minimap. Lack of judgment. It's also he's building retarded. Like, I think if he doesn't need this item. And he knows, okay, so when you know you're going to be in the 1v1 the majority of the time, you don't build like this. Because 100% this guy should always be splitting. Yeah. Almost 100% this guy should be splitting. So it's actually retarded to go this, both these builds, what? This build says I want a team fight, but he's never team fighting. I'm so confused. Because his team doesn't win the team fights, is a problem. Even if they get the perfect Hecarim Galio combo, Kindred completely neutralizes that. The Zoe's not that good at team fighting. Like, you're definitely going to lose to this as soon as these guys hit 16s in a team fight. So you absolutely need to be splitting. But you don't build this to split against Kennen. I think that's pretty annoying. Like, pretty dumb. I don't know what the game plan is here. Maybe they do want a team fight. But I don't think they win is the problem. I mean, obviously this isn't a team fight, and they're winning this, so it's a little bit different. Yeah, this is super uncoordinated. That was a really bad TP. He didn't even have R, I think. Yeah, he didn't. I don't know what he's doing. They need to call that a lost cause, and he just needs to keep pushing here. I guess he may have been low, and he wanted to not get TP'd on by the hecarim. I don't know. That was looked pretty bad for Fenerbahçe. They need to stall out until Cannon 16 is 0-16, and then they can win fights a lot easier. Lucian going like a traditional build, so they have mountains, so they easily take up that Baron. And at this point, this game looks pretty hard to win. I don't know what's going on here. They have vision. There's no wave coming in. He's just like walking around for no reason. Maybe he did Gromp, he's trying to get to mid? I don't know. How does he do this? Oh, he... I have no idea what he's doing. Looks really dumb. Like, what are you contesting here? No wave, no wave. Baron's warded. Makes no sense. They also have double blue when they absolutely do not need it. Because they're not going to start on Baron. With a Zir cannon. Yeah, I'm not sure why they need double blue. Really don't think they do. It looks kind of out of their control at this point. Once they get this Baron, 4-1, I guess. I mean, I say 4-1, but the hecarim has a split build, so that's actually so fucking retarded. This is just so bad from the Lucian. I don't know what he's doing. Even turning to fight that is like so dumb. This is terrible. For anyone who plays top lane or splitting champs, you do not push up in the tower until after your lane gets pressure. Like, your Lee Sin is in base and you're making a play. It's just so fucking bad. He dies for it. It's gonna stall the game out, which is good. Stalling is definitely in the favor of FB. I'm almost certain. You might be able to argue like, hey, but as we scale, this hecarim can never get fought. But it doesn't really matter because a TP play will end the game. This play's fine because you get the mid tower, so you get one objective, and then now you want to play for another one. And the hecarim's off the map, so it's not like you can set up anything properly. Okay, so someone needs to fix top wave, probably get this slow pushing up top. Shove mid, rotate top, leave the hecarim on an island here, which is, like, again, I cannot stress this enough how bad this build is for a splitting build. Cannot stress that enough. Fenerbahçe picks up a mountain dragon of their own. It doesn't really matter at this point because they're not going to be able to hit towers and they're not really going to be able to access the Baron. They will eventually, but they also want to be coming in, kind of. because of the Zoe poke and the cannon. And also the Galio, sorry. They do burn it very fast though still, but it's just hard to leave their base at this point. Until 16s at least. Yeah, they're just picking on this hecarim because he doesn't really time his splitting with the other waves. See, look. A plays getting set up here. It's not, like, back up at this point. Because you know that there's nothing being pressured, so they can make a play on you for free. They're not even going to lose anything for doing it. Yeah, I'm really not sure about this hecarim build. You know, with how the draft looks, that you're always going to be in the split. So I'm not sure why you would ever build armor. Maybe if someone can leave a comment and let me know why someone would do that. Be great. I'll speed this up a little bit. This is kind of why I say that Phong Vũ, they don't have the best macro. Like, their coordination looks really off because of things like this. Fenerbahçe too. Like, they definitely should not be in some of the spots that they are. Even not considering vision. I'm going to explain. Even if I have full vision, it does not matter because the spots that they are don't net them anything at all in terms of objectives. This is how you get these games with like 20 kills. Like 20, 25 kills because people are playing like this when you shouldn't be. You need to play to your win condition and to the game flow. This is pretty bad that they commit 3 members here. There's no Baron, so I guess they're just trying to pick on this guy, try to stall out the game more and more. They do end up killing him. They have a mountain, so they do this insanely fast. Are they going to be able to get out? That's the question. Probably. I think most people get out here. Oh, maybe not. They're cut off. They actually win. Let's slow this down a little bit. They know the Ken has no ult. Wow, he doesn't pop his R. I guess he couldn't. They killed him before the taunt ran out. That's a great turn. Fibonacci just needs to play that slower. The cannon wasn't even there when they were face checking the bush. Is he? Oh, he is. But he has no E. He has no cooldowns. They should wait. Like, where do they have to go? Where do these guys have to go? They're just tunneling for the sake of tunneling. I mean, it's hard to have patience in a game, honestly. Like, it's hard to say, like, hey, we don't, like, wait, you know? I mean, I'm sure we've all been there. It's just like, these guys look dead, so let's chase. Hecarim TP. Wow, that armor over Merc's really doing it. And they have massive waves here, so I expect this game to get closed out right now. With 2 deaths. Full reset here, actually, is probably the best. And then 5 bot. Pick up the drag on the way. I wouldn't really be concerned about this Kindred taking the drag. I'm really confused with the Hecarim player. I think he just plays super disrespectful. I think this should have gone a lot better for FB. Look at the cohesion. These guys are cutting back. These guys are moving forward. This guy E'd in already. They could have waited. This guy's right here sitting on it. Like, I don't know. This just like look at they're not even fighting together. That's a way to get the galley ult in. It is pretty troll, but it definitely is a way. Okay. This guy kills the cannon, which he should have been doing all game, but he has a retarded build. Lee Sin goes down. Not that it matters. They have to deal with the hecarim. I guess you do argue that the hecarim pushes top over over grouping because of azir. The problem is he doesn't have Baron because he was dead, but that's okay. Not that they could just wait, kind of. Well, this game still isn't getting closed out. Pretty hard to come back from 3 inhibs, though. Surprised that this is going so well for Fibonacci. This is why I say, like, oh, they just needed to get 16s, because look, they can't ever fight them. But they lost too much. They lost 2 Barons and 3 inhibs now. They also lost an Infernal. So, this game's going to be pretty hard to come back from, but the problem is that there's 18s across the board, so there's no XP to be had from having the inhib. It's only gold, but the gold isn't that relevant because of the pressure, and they can always split you in. Like, they can even just have the Zoe sit mid. They can just wait. Like, they can just have the Hecarim split, wait for Baron to spawn. All these kind of things. They have a mountain as well. Like, it's just hard to... This was definitely misplayed by Buffalo, but FB's team comp, like, it's supposed to do this. It's supposed to be good at this stage of the game. The team fight is just much better because they opted for the Azir. But if they had something like Syndra, their mid game would have been better. So it's like it's kind of a situation where you chose, like, you picked your poison and then you like didn't take the antidote because you knew what the antidote was, is get to late game. Like, you knew this when you took, like, get to 16 at least. It would have been the play. This game's over, by the way. 2 deaths. They have no waves, but these guys are gonna die and they're gonna use bot wave to end. So that's GG. But yeah, the the most baffling thing to me is that Hecarim build. I think it's so bad. I don't think this guy ever goes AD Cannon because they want to group. So it's just like a situation where both teams, like, showing again why they're uncoordinated. Closing remarks, I don't think either team played their comp well. I didn't like either draft, to be honest. I thought both drafts were pretty lackluster. I thought I don't like the Azir pick. And if you are going to play the Azir pick, at least play it to your win condition. I thought the Hecarim was pushing up way too far at certain times before the pressure came in. And I definitely think Fibonacci should have considered the dragon with like 2.5 minutes. They definitely should have been going for some kind of vision war. They were like ahead at that time too. Not like super ahead, but they were definitely somewhat like they had more control because they have the scaling. Whenever you have the scaling, you can kind of play towards like you can always take the route that will get you to that point. Not always, but in this specific game, they were in a position to because they didn't fall too far behind. I like game plans from both teams. The vertical, I actually like the vertical. The Kindred got kind of lucky on his marks. He got good mark targets. Um, but yeah, I just think that both teams played really sloppy. Both teams didn't really play to their win condition, especially that hecarim. I think that's really bad. I'm probably not gonna give that up. The way he pushed, his build, everything. They can't really match him. It's not like he has to go against another splitter. They didn't pick another splitter. So, I'm just confused. Maybe it's for the lane. I guess it tabbies for the lane. I can't. I can't argue the Righteous Glory pick. Unless you want to one-shot the cannon, but you know he'll build Zanyas. So it doesn't really make too much sense that way. Alright, that's it for me for this game. If you guys enjoyed it and stayed around this long, hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think in the comments. Constructive criticism is appreciated. And that's it for this game. Thanks.